Hello guys, and welcome to this volkswizard video. Now, regular visitors to my channel will know that back in the summer I was lucky enough to hire a Viper Green Audi Rs3 Saloon. I had a crazy 8 days with this car in the Alps and loved it so much that it was only natural that when I got back to the UK I'd look at buying one for myself. I nearly did, but realised I'd have to sell my Golf GTI Clubsport S, which at the time I didn't want to do. But soon after that things took a bit of an unforeseen turn. I kind of came to the realisation that I'd have to leave Birmingham if I wanted to continue enjoying nice cars, and that would cost money, and that money would come from the Clubsport S. So I put it up for sale, sold it really quickly, and then realised I still had a good few months before I'd have to put the money into the house and I could go and buy that Rs3 that I've always wanted. Well, just at that time a friend offered me his car, the car you see here, a Floret Silver Saloon, and I couldn't really say no. Now, I've had this car a couple of months and I thought before winter finally kicks in I'd bring it out here to the beautiful roads of Suffolk, where I brought the Clubsport S back in September and the Cayman back in April, and make a video showing you why I love the Audi Rs3 Saloon. Okay, let's start off by talking about the styling. Now, this is a very subjective area, but I love the Saloon. I think it's one of the best designs Audi have done in recent years. It makes the current A4 look particularly dated because this is just so beautiful and pert, particularly that rear end. Anyway, I'll just walk you around this car and show you the bits about it that I particularly love. Now, as you can probably see, there's a black and silver theme going on throughout. So we've got the black styling pack, we've got tinted windows at the back, we've got the black and silver wheels, we've even got the pan roof, which gives you a lot more black on the roof. So yeah, I do like that. We've got a little bit of colour here with the red calipers, and we've got a bit of colour inside with the red stitching on the Supersport seat, and we've got the RS pack on the inside, which gives us the mats and that red styling there, and the Alcantara on the side of the centre console, which I particularly like. Another thing which they all get is this restyling of the headlights on these facelift cars. So you've got this sort of Z shape here, which the pre-facelift cars don't get, and I think it makes a massive difference. I think it looks particularly cool covered in mud, but no doubt when I get home I will give it a good clean. But anyway, so you've seen what my Rs3 Saloon looks like. Now let's go and drive it on these fantastic Suffolk roads. Okay guys, here we are behind the wheel of the Rs3 Saloon. Now, this might seem a bit boring, but something I like about this car a lot is that when you're not in the mood, you can back it all off and make it nice and quiet and even comfortable in this car with its magnetic dampers, just by pressing the drive select button a couple of times. So let's go from dynamic to comfort. The exhaust quietens down, the gearbox backs off a bit, the suspension sort of slackens itself a bit as well, and it's just a pleasant car to be in. It just feels like a normal car, which I know might sound a bit boring, but sometimes you just want a normal car, and if you can have a car that does that but also is a thrill, then so much the better. And this car does a very good job of doing both. You could say it's a bit Jekyll and Hyde. So now we've done comfort, let's pop it into dynamic. Now, there's also individual mode where you can, that wasn't me, that's the car telling me it wants to play. Individual mode will let you play around, so you could have like soft dampers in dynamic mode but have everything else aggressive, which is probably not a bad idea. But out here in the Suffolk, the roads are pretty good, so we'll stick in dynamic for a bit. Now, it probably makes the throttle response sharper, the gearbox changes up higher. It also puts more drive to the rear wheels, which I've experienced, and it will drive the back wheels and give you a bit of oversteer to counter understeer. I'm not sure I want to do that on these unfamiliar Suffolk roads, but yeah, in dynamic it is a bit of an animal. And if you contrast it with how it is in comfort, it's incredible that cars these days can do that. Yes, the Clubsport S is more focused, no doubt, but it is a bit of a one-trick pony. I mean, for a start, it's got no back seats. Couldn't take my parents out in that car, could I? But this car will do that. It's got a big boot, it's comfortable, it's quiet, and it's also a thrill. Now, it's a different kind of thrill to the Clubsport S. Admittedly, that's a very precise tool. This can feel a bit lumpy in place, but it's not bad. And that brings me on to handling. So let me show you how this car handles. The next thing I like about the Rs3 Saloon that you might find surprising is the handling. I know these have got a reputation for understeering, but these facelift cars are actually a hell of a lot better. And yeah, they put a magnesium sump on, they put an aluminium block. Do you think they're not going to work the chassis? I've had this car oversteering, although I don't think I can demonstrate that to you on these narrow roads of Suffolk. But when you push the limits, the computers kind of work that out, and they shove a load of drive to the back, and you can get the back out. It's lost that front heavy feel of even the pre-facelift cars. It's just a lot more balanced, a lot more neutral. We'll do that again because there's a corner that we did in the Clubsport S where that car felt amazing, that I'm pretty sure this car is going to feel at least as good. And bearing in mind now, it's 6 degrees here, 6.5, so the road surface isn't grippy like it was for the Clubsport S back in the back end of summer. Then I think it was September, early autumn, when it was probably about 15 degrees. So let's go again then. So we're in individual with soft dampers, everything else in aggressive. You really don't want to understeer on this road because there's not a lot of space. So confidently in on the power of the apex, full throttle. Do you really need a car to handle better than that? Okay, on the track it might be a bit unhappy, as Evo found out, but on the roads this car is absolutely sensational in the chassis department. Okay, there's a couple of sharp bends coming up. I might be able to just prove to you the lack of understeer in this car on these bends. The surface isn't particularly good. We're not going to do it too fast, and I don't really know what's coming, but it's a relatively quiet road, so we're in full-on dynamic. Let's get some speed up before the first one. So let's tip it in, get on the... Not bad, I did bottle it a bit there. We've got a right-hander coming up now, so I'll drop it into second, look ahead, see how clear it is. Clear. You see what I mean? It sniffs out the understeer and then it gives you a bang up the backside to counter it. Very clever. I think we should do that again actually, although generally with these kind of things luck may well run out quite soon. But it's quiet. Gives us a bit of room to move. Second gear, turn in, a bit slippy on the apex. Okay, didn't understeer, didn't oversteer. Probably what most people would want. Let's try that again now, so let's hope it's nice and clear into second gear. Surface is horrible. Did it again. Oh yeah, some very clever things going on here, probably cleverer than me. But yeah, understeer, it's there. But if you let the car do its thing, there's no understeer, particularly when you've got Quattro in dynamic and it's shoving the drive to the rear wheels. Okay guys, another thing I love about the Rs3 Saloon is that it has a hell of a lot of traction. Now I'll probably be preaching to the converted here. You know all about Quattro and its all-wheel drive and its rally pedigree. Well, it does work in the real world as well. You don't have to be wall-to-wall. So this is a bit of a damp road here. There's been a lot of rain overnight. There's also quite a lot of mud. So I'll just position this car on a particularly muddy, wet bit, which is coming up here. Right now, I'm not going to do launch control because we don't need that, but I will just see it's even skidded to a halt there. That's how much grip there is. So I'll just give it a full throttle start and we'll see how we get on. The traction control's on. Okay, there was still a bit of slip because you can't fix the laws of physics with the Quattro. You can do a lot of things, but you can't fix that. But it still got going, and you can imagine that if you were stuck in mud or driving in the snow, it would still have a good go at getting you going, while a normal front-wheel drive car, as you accelerate, the front lifts, it actually takes the weight off of the front tyres doing that, which means they actually have less grip during the process of acceleration than they would do during static driving. So yeah, if you don't like wheel spin and you get annoyed with that, this is a fantastic car, and also something you can enjoy as a fast car during the summer, or like almost like a practical supercar, you could say. But in the winter, it will get you home, particularly if you put some winter tyres on it. Okay guys, much less of a surprise to you will be that I love the noise of the Rs3 Saloon. So we've got that 2.5 litre 5-cylinder engine, and it's spectacular. We've also got the sports exhaust on this car, 1,200 quid extra, I think, well worth paying for. You can buy it from the main dealer as a part and have it fitted. Doesn't cost an awful lot more actually, but that's great. But what makes it even better is we've got sports exhaust plus the pan roof. So I'm not really into sunroofs, well I wasn't until I bought this car, but you just wind the glass back, keep the blind there. And it makes the exhaust noise twice as loud. Now what's interesting about this car, it's got a 7-speed gearbox like the 7.5 Golf R and GTI, but it still farts a lot and it's not as smooth as those cars. So they've engineered in a bit of character and they've left the efficiency to the Volkswagen range because I think they're better on fuel because they don't fart. And this car's not that brilliant on fuel, we're doing 28.4, but when it sounds like this, do you really care? No. Okay guys, thanks for watching this volkswizard video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more.